Welcome back to the channel. We have breaking news straight out of Atlanta, and if you're a Braves fan, you are used to the drama. But this latest development is a brutal 1-2 punch that forced the front office to make a controversial, franchise-defining decision regarding their biggest star, Ronald Acuna Jr. This is the story of how a seemingly innocuous accident halfway across the globe threatened to derail the Braves' return to playoff contention and why the team is drawing an absolute hard line on their reigning MVP. The Atlanta Braves are entering a critical season. After missing the playoffs for the first time since 2017, a year plagued by injuries to key players like Strider, Sale, and Riley, the goal is simple: get back to October. But the injury curse, which has haunted them, just struck again, and it wasn't even a baseball injury. We need to talk about Ha-Seong Kim. The Braves recently claimed Kim off waivers, signing him to a one-year, $20 million contract in the hopes of securing him long-term for 2026. This was a massive move, meant to solidify a crucial piece of the infield puzzle. Instead, just moments after joining the organization, Kim suffered an unbelievable brutal injury while in his native South Korea. He slipped on ice. A slip on ice led to a torn tendon in his right middle finger, requiring immediate surgery. The team confirmed this devastating setback via MLB trade rumors. The $20 million shortstop they just acquired is now sidelined indefinitely, leaving a massive gaping hole in the infield right as spring training looms. It's a gut-wrenching turn of events for a franchise that desperately needs stability. This immediate crisis fueled intense, immediate speculation. The logic was obvious. With a hole at shortstop, and with Ronald Acuna Jr. being arguably the most dynamic athlete in Major League Baseball, could he move to fill the gap? Acuna has shown flashes of his defensive prowess, boasting a career .985 fielding percentage and elite speed. Adding fuel to the fire, Acuna was recently seen taking infield reps earlier this month. The image of the reigning MVP sliding over to shortstop was electrifying for some fans, a desperate, exciting short-term fix to a long-term problem. But that solution, however enticing on paper, carries immense risk, especially for a player with Acuna's history. Remember, Ronald Acuna Jr. is coming off his second major knee injury. He tore his ACL in 2021, missed significant time, and then suffered the same devastating injury again in 2024. He played 95 games last season, earned an All-Star nod, but the health concern, especially concerning his lower body, remains the franchise's greatest fear. Moving an outfielder, whose responsibilities keep him mostly moving forward and laterally into the quick, sharp, rotational movements of the infield, specifically shortstop, exponentially increases the risk of a third catastrophic lower body injury. The Braves cannot afford to lose Acuna for an extended stretch again. It would utterly derail any postseason aspirations, and that is exactly why the front office put their foot down. In a definitive move that shuts down every whisper and speculation across the league, the Atlanta Braves have made a firm, non-negotiable decision on Ronald Acuna Jr.'s role. MLB.com reporter Mark Bowman confirmed directly with the club that there are no plans for Acuna to even toy with playing shortstop or any other infield positions. Bowman clarified that while many outfielders take grounders in the winter, this was not an indication of a positional change. The franchise star stays in the outfield. This decision is simple. The Braves are prioritizing the long-term health and stability of their most valuable asset over a desperate short-term fix. They would rather find an alternative, perhaps through the farm system, trades, or another waiver claim, than risk putting Acuna in a position that could statistically increase his chance of suffering a third major injury. The Braves are betting on the long game. They are saying loudly and clearly that Ronald Acuna Jr.'s health is more important than plugging the Kim-sized hole in the 2025 lineup. The question now becomes, how do the Braves fill that $20 million gap at shortstop? The depth chart just became significantly thinner, and the pressure on the remaining infielders and the general manager is reaching a fever pitch. Stay tuned as we analyze the next immediate roster move the Braves must make to survive this brutal injury crisis. Don't forget to like and subscribe for all your exclusive Braves insider news.